Morning, everyone. This is our session on TELUS Business Connect Refresher. And this morning, I have a special guest with us, Keith Upshall, based out of Toronto, 25 York. And he is the Manager of Products and Services for TELUS. And Keith, if you don't mind, a quick introduction for yourself, and we'll start from there.
Sure. All right. Thanks, Doug. So, hi, everyone. As Doug indicated, so my name is Keith Upshall. So I'm the manager of the product team responsible for Business Connect. Also within my portfolio, I have some other unified communication products, such as Broad Connect and NGOP, if you're familiar with those. And then also a few legacy items, such as audio conferencing, toll-free, in business long distance. So great to be on the call here and interact or answer any questions you guys may have about the products and the roadmap we have.
Fantastic. Thanks, Keith. Hey, and this morning's session is Ask Me Anything. We are recording this morning's session, so it will be available for afterwards. So anybody that's on the line, you can ask us absolutely anything. Keith and I are here to answer any TELUS-related or RingCentral-related questions wrapped around Business Connect and how it applies kind of in this day and age and what we're doing. So let's open the floor. If anybody has a question, you can raise your hand in the participants list. If you open your participant list, you'll notice that you have a raise hand button at the bottom. Just click that, and I'll allow you to speak, and we'll go from there. Hey, great, we got a couple. Daniel, you got a question?
Good morning. Yeah, I have a question. So I had a question regarding the capacity issues. What specifically has RingCentral been doing to address those, and have they been addressed?
That's a great question. It's twofold too. It's on the TELUS side as well. RingCentral is responsible for a portion of it, and TELUS is responsible for a portion of it. So knowing how the network is laid out and put together, and how the pieces play together is important. Now, when it comes to direction of the call, inbound or outbound, you have to look at both sides to really give a good assessment. On the inbound side, in Canada at least, we have a mix between IRIS-TEL and TELUS to have that inbound transport from the PSTN. Currently, the project that's underway, and Keith, you could probably top up on this as well with the TELUS OVW product. That is slowly taking over. I don't know what the date is to complete that. I'll like I said, I'll let Keith to finish up on this, but. The product itself is being supported by IRIS-TEL and TELUS on that inbound leg. Yes, IRIS-TEL has had some issues with capacity. They're managing and mitigating that the best they can. The solution to that, of course, is moving everything over to the TELUS SIP product or the OVW product. On the outbound leg, we haven't had a lot of issues. If it has been, it's been sporadic, and it's been third-party carriers, and they're knocked down as fast as they come up. On the conference side, it's a little different. Unfortunately, the conferencing tool that we use, the conferencing engine we use, is powered by Zoom. Zoom has had some capacity issues. We've had some capacity issues. All of them are being addressed. Most of them are being increased, solved by increasing capacity, or taking some of the load off of the RingCentral side direct by moving users over to a different video platform. We don't have that luxury on Business Connect, but that may help the overall solution. So, Keith, anything to update on dates and stuff for OVW on the inbound?
Yep, for sure. So as Doug indicated, we are making the transition. It's been a project that we started earlier in the year. Currently about 35, maybe a little bit more than 35% of our existing base has already been migrated over. And we're targeting completion of the entire base. I would say the back half of May is what we're currently on track for. But any net new activations go on to TELUS OVW.
Okay, very nice. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Keith, you're up next. I don't have a last name, so it could be a couple of Keiths that I know. So yeah, just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question. Okay, Edwin Chu, you're up next. Your hand's up. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, Doug, just to follow up, you mentioned Zoom and their capacity issues. I think it was you who mentioned that you guys were bringing on a new collaboration video conferencing, web conferencing platform. Is that correct or not?
You know, I think I'll swing that question over to Keith. You know, it's in the air. We do have RingCentral does have a separate video platform. It's called RingCentral Video, or RCV, and it is going to be the standard on the RingCentral side. How TELUS adopts that, I don't know, Keith. If you've got any update on that, yeah, please.
Sure. Yep. No, definitely. So you are correct. RingCentral does have their own meetings platform that we're currently evaluating and assessing. It would be something that we'd look to pivot over to, just in the grand scheme of the product. Right now, I don't have any hard timelines because we've just opened up conversations between TELUS and RingCentral. One thing I can assure you, though, is if we do make a change, we would provide at least 90 days notice for net new customers, and then also determine and develop a migration strategy if that's the direction that we go.
Fantastic.
Okay, sounds good. And Doug, follow up to that. Mm-hmm. What advantages would that present to us going to the RingCentral Video versus Zoom? Because Zoom's getting a lot of press right now, and everybody's using it during this, COVID thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Zoom being, we're not the only provider that uses Zoom as an engine for video conferencing. There's others as well, and of course their own product. The advantages that we're going to have right off the bat is the core code set that we will now own on our own platform. It will be our own video bridge and our own access links, and our own software as far as the desktop application, which will provide a number of major benefits. One being a little bit, majorly more flexible as far as feature additions and adds and changes. We'll be able to push out more of the user statistics and analytics wrapped around meetings, and incorporate that even tighter to the Business Conenct platform and the RingCentral platform itself, and give us more flexibility on what platforms or what methods of video conferencing can be embedded in other applications. Right now, we're rather static. When you click on a meeting link, it always opens up a separate meeting application. We will start to embed that into browsers directly into a the killer app that will be one app for voice, video, and meeting. That will be coming down the pipe. In time, and video will help to promote that. So there are some major advantages to do that and to own the code ourselves.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
Okay, fantastic. And as you know, in the latest release of Zoom that we're using for Business Conenct meetings, we do have a lot of options that have been added to the platform since 19.3 actually. So it was mid-September, October timeframe when we did that. One of the things that you will notice is virtual backgrounds. So you can have, instead of having the drab office environment that you may live in, in these times, you can kind of, excite the world by showing off where you actually, where you want to live, and what your living room really looks like. So you have the ability to turn on and off video backgrounds to attain that. And now that we have this, this meeting, by the way, is fully encrypted too. So that's important for a lot of business segments. With that, we have point-to-point or end-to-end encryption on endpoints. You'll notice in the top left-hand corner of your meetings window, there's a little padlock with an E for encrypted included, and that is controlled by the Business Conenct super admin on your particular account. So if you have you're hosting your own meetings, and you need to have an encrypted session, you have to turn that on for the account, and then the user has to turn that on in their own account, or the admin can turn it on for them. So there are a number of new features in there. And yes, that's a green screen,
Green.
by the way. Yes.
I was waiting for you to teleport to the beach there, Doug.
Well, I can certainly do that. I've changed virtual backgrounds, during meetings, and surprise people where I actually am. And this is a picture I actually took from my my beach house down in Belize. So it's very it's very nice to be able to put anything you want. In this day and age, you look at it's basically an empty call center, and that's for most people. If they're in the office, that's what it's going to look like. So I don't know, maybe this is more fitting. It's kind of sad the situation we're in right now, but this is our reality now, and we have to deal with it. And we deal with it with the tools that we have, and keep on trucking, right? So we're just only 10-15 minutes in. Any other questions that have come up? This is the Ask Me Anything session of TELUS Business Connect Refresher. I still see there's Keith. There he is. Yes, we can hear you now, Keith. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, Keith Upshall. Sorry about that. I had double mute on, so I was talking myself. Hey, two questions actually, and this comes from the field from our sales executives. First one is Microsoft Teams integration again. I know we have like Chrome add-in, plug-in, whatever it's called, integration, which provides a really nice sort of BID integration with the team environment. And then we're coming up with a more integrated approach in the near future. Can you provide any kind of timeline for when we should be able to see that in TELUS?
Yeah, Keith. Yeah. Part of Business Connect. That again is a product question. Keith, do you have an update on when we're going to see that embedded in the native app?
Let me take a look. I know I have information on it. Let me just look and see if I can get a date. I want to say it's Q2, but let me just search my notes here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I've heard Q2 and Q3 kind of bantered about, but I haven't seen it officially on a documented roadmap. But when you look at the application itself, while Keith's looking at this, I'll ramble on here. When you look at the application itself, it is a web-based application, at least how it's coded. It's all done in HTML5 anyways. So what you're going to see in a standalone app is essentially it's a standalone browser. So what you see inside our browser integration, when you go to teams.microsoft.com and you hit F11, the experience is absolutely identical. There's no difference whatsoever. It's still a WebRTC client, it's still embedded, but in the standalone app, it's going to be an add-in of the way that Microsoft does add-ins, and essentially it's a WebRTC client sitting in the back end. And Keith, do you have anything?
Except they'll support multiple browsers in the future, right? Like
yes, possible. Yes, if it's done, because it's right now it's a Chrome plugin, and that plugin will work only inside Chrome. But if you bring up Teams in Edge, for example, you're not going to have the Business Connect meetings option to turn on those buttons at all. If it's a standalone app, then it's a standalone app. Yeah, well, today, that's even today.
But tomorrow you should be able to.
Well, that's a different part of the product as far as scope goes. Whether it's going to be included in other browsers, I don't know. Maybe Keith has an update. I haven't heard anything though, Keith. Keith Siebold.
I'd like to know other browsers and tablets and smartphones. We really want that integration to be,
seamless.
Across all devices.
Cross board, right. Yeah, we don't want to give too many advantages to Microsoft, but it's nice to play nice in the sandbox, as they say, right?
Okay, so Doug, the information I just got from my team is it's currently right now part of our Q3 release, so 20.3, but we're still waiting for final confirmation.
Okay, there you go. So Q3.
Thank you.
So yeah, and that's probably going to be look at September, October timeframe of this year.
And just so I know, when's it available just directly from RingCentral? In case customers ask.
I'm not privy to that information. Probably a quarter ahead. Maybe next Q2. I don't know. I'm guessing on that one though.
Yeah, generally Business Connect is a quarter behind in terms of releases.
Okay.
So if we're targeting Q3, I would imagine RingCentral's Q2.
Yeah. My second question has to do with Zoom. Zoom has got a lot of popularity with customers and home users. They've done a really good job of trying to take advantage of this crisis pandemic. And then just recently, you've probably seen the news, there's been a bunch of press release and news announcements about the privacy and sharing of information between Zoom and Facebook and others. It's getting a lot of bad press. That's great for us, but customers also recognize that you guys currently use Zoom for your collab piece in Business Conenct. Is it the same situation for us because we use Zoom, or have we done something different?
You have to look at what parts of Zoom that we use. We're not we have a separate code base as well. Like the code base is completely separate from other tiers or other avenues of business, verticals of business that Zoom entertains. Even inside Ring Central, there's separate code bases for TELUS, for AT&T, for Ring Central, and even British Telecom. They're all completely separate. How we interact with that from a database standpoint, yes, we pass information to do the reporting and analytics, but that's where it stops. There's absolutely zero interaction with their voice platform. And that might be where some of the conversation has spawned. I don't have any of the specific details on where those privacy concerns are focused, but I would assume they're more around the user database, account database kind of environment. Right now, we pass very little information to Zoom. It's basically a user ID that's reflected back and forth, and that's about it. To facilitate a meeting. Like I said, we're on a separate code base. Yes, it's on the Zoom platform, but at this point, we don't really have much to be concerned about. We do provide, the end-to-end encryption, so that's one thing that's a big positive. Any meeting, especially on the TELUS side, even our recording capabilities, right now it's local only. You don't have the ability to push it up to a cloud storage device. So if you do record a session like this session's being recorded, it will be recorded on your local PC. So that's one thing that alleviates some of the fears around storage and where that media goes.
Yeah, I appreciate the technical explanation and encryption, but our business customers are going to see all this stuff, CNN, CBC, news releases, privacy breaches with Zoom. Can we just get a simple business level explanation that we're different and that doesn't affect Business Conenct users?
Yeah, that's something that's going to have to be crafted. Yeah. That's something that's going to have to be crafted by product to come up with something like that.
And we do later today, we're going to be releasing battle cards, specifically positioning Business Conenct against Zoom that will highlight a lot of the gaps. It's about 6 or 7 pages that would come out today. So that should help arm you and your teams with the proper positioning on how we differ.
From a privacy and security perspective as well, right?
As well,
not just features. All right.
Correct.
Okay, thanks for the question. That's a great question, Keith. Any other questions on the floor? I don't see any hands up waiting to be asked. If anybody's got any questions, just go ahead and ask them. We're wide open. We're all clear. If not, we'll wrap up. We're about 25 minutes. Yeah, got one more. Edwin?
It's Edwin again. Okay,
yep.
Since nobody else is asking, I got another one.
Sure.
We work with enough customers that do have a U.S. presence, and they kind of debate between, I like the support of TELUS and Business Conenct, and I can have a little more support, but I also like the single platform if I go Ring Central direct. So wanted to get your thoughts on how to combat that.
Well, there's a couple of things from a business perspective. You've got a physical presence. You've got yourself. You've got your sales team. You've got your sales specialists. All of you can well, not right now, but physically, traditionally, you're going to be face to face with the customer. You're going to be interacting, over the phone. You're local, and that's kind of the big number one. The number two is the fact that you own the network, and the bundling aspect of you know, a little more of you know, combined pricing or blended pricing. You can come with a full-blown solution to provide that. And you know, we know the territory. You know, it's our home, it's our home ground, it's our backyard, right? So those are kind of the two biggies. Other than that, yeah, it's tough sometimes to compete, especially when it's price that's being led with. You know, but we've got to always look at the value and obviously the business issues the customer is facing, and what solution that we've got, you know, beyond voice, and even beyond Business Conenct. You know, what other solutions do we have, from managed internet and wireless redundancy and MPLS possibilities, security and hardware. You know, the one touch, you know, the one throat to choke. That's a biggie.
Okay. Do we have any advantages in terms of pricing over RingCentral Direct, or is it a level playing field?
It's pretty much a level playing field. Keith, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would say we're pretty much at parity in regards to features and functionality. Price point, we are pretty much aligned, especially for any above the line pricing. Once we get into custom, it's a slightly different ballgame, but I would say we're pretty much aligned on price.
Okay. Does that work for you, Edwin?
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Keith, did you have something else? Keith Siebold?
I did, yeah. Just something that came up from one of our newer sales executives yesterday, actually. And I think I gave him an answer, but I need to check again whether or not I got the answer correct. Yeah, the question is foreign DIDs. I get some international DIDs on one of our our Business Conenct sales. Is there any option to do that at all?
Currently, no. It's on the roadmap. Keith, do you want to do the official announcement?
For sure. All right. So yeah, that is something that we have on a roadmap for this year. Two of the big items would be contact center. And then we'll follow that with USDIDs. So right now I'm targeting and working to get all the pieces in place for contact center, and that will be launching in the coming months, like before the end of Q2. And then we'll be working on global DIDs. So I can't give a hard timeline at this point, but I would say that we would have something in market probably for Q3.
If I could make a suggestion or a recommendation, a lot of our people are putting opportunities in the funnel, and they're switching the platform from Business Conenct to TC2 just because they believe that that's not a capability, or they're not aware of that roadmap coming up. So we might want to communicate that as a part of a roadmap so that everybody in the sales team is really clear. Even if it's a smaller customer Business Conenct type fit, they should be going with it, even if it has a USDID requirement. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think it's something to communicate out to sales. I did have Marshall included in his presentation at sales conference, but there was a lot of content covered, so it may have been missed, but I can get together a comment to send out to sales to let them know it's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, they're asking, so thank you.
Yeah. It was a small piece as far as a launch, official launch at the sales conference. So yeah, when Marshall spoke of it, it occupied 10 seconds of the the 2.5 days that we were there. So it was very short, but it did create quite a buzz. Keith, and we had a lot of people come to our booth asking about it right after the announcement was made. Some of them rushing in to ask exactly the question you just asked, Keith. So yeah, it's definitely top of mind. We see it almost on a daily basis. Pepe and I are kind of dealing with it. Currently, the current solution is, of course, to partner with a RingCentral rep and do some blending of services between the two. Unfortunately, we can't can't get the spiff paid back, or at least any kind of compensation at this point. But I believe that's part of Marshall's model, was to facilitate that. But we're going to go beyond that for sure.
Thank you.
All right, fantastic. We're 25 minutes in. If there's no further questions, we'll wrap up for the day. I like to keep this under a half an hour. So thank you very much. I'll give it another second if anybody puts their hand up or chimes in. That's great. That looks good. Fantastic. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your day. Please stay safe and remember that we have to keep separated, right? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.